Okay, so now we got the brake caliper out the way. I just wanted to get that out the way to show you all the other bolts we need to take off to access the lower ball joints. Make it a lot easier. So the next thing you're going to want to take off is the brake caliper, bracket itself, which is this piece that is holding the brake pads right here. It's going to be two 18mm bolts, one here and one here, and you're going to pull this whole piece out the way. Then you have to take off the upper control arm right here. This is the upper ball joint and the upper control arm. You're going to want to take this nut off, which is a 18mm, and the tie rod on this side, which is a 21mm, and then the bottom ball joint nut down here, which is a 24mm. I usually like to take this one off almost all the way, but leave a couple threads, because whenever we're going to go to separate this, you don't want this whole spindle and brakes just to fall on the ground. It's going to catch it for you. But basically, I'm going to take all those bolts out, and then I'm going to come right here with my sledgehammer, and I'm going to hit right here, and it's going to shock this and let this drop down. And I'm going to do the same thing right here. Pop this with the sledgehammer, which is also going to shock it and let this fall. This is why I said you want to leave this a couple rounds on, because whenever this drops, you want it to catch it. I'm using my Matco 1/2-inch impact. This thing's a beast. Makes everything like this a lot easier. You can do all of this without any air tools or electric impact tools, but I definitely recommend some form of an impact to do this job, because it will just save you a lot of time and headache. But if you're interested in this impact here, you can hit up Chris Cercello, a Matco tool distributor over here in Eunice, and he can hook you up. So anyway, we're going to take those things off, and I'll post another video once we got all the spindle out the way. Another thing you're going to want to make sure you're careful with is this speed sensor here. I'm just going to unbolt the bracket here, follow it up, and it plugs in right here. You just take a little fork tool, pop that out. But you don't want this to get ripped, because then you're going to get a ABS light, and so you might get some funny braking issues. But it can stay connected back here. You can just leave it there. Just unbolt it here, unplug it, and unclip it here. Alright, so I'll post part 3 in a second.